Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our first tutorial on Microsoft Excel. Let's open up the tutorial, and this one is going to start off with a kind of a primer on how to do math in a spreadsheet. And the first thing that I want everybody to know and everybody to remember and everybody to adhere to is the fact that all Excel really is a fancy calculator. And I need that knowledge to be internalized. Never ever do your math by hand. Never use a calculator off to the side. Use Excel. Excel is your calculator now, because when you get good at using Excel to do your calculations, you actually get a lot better at using a computer to automate certain tasks that used to be tedious and annoying and boring. Excel is going to speed up a lot of those processes and make your life a lot easier. So I have a blank one here, a blank spreadsheet here. The first rule of every formula inside of a cell is, first of all, what is a formula? A formula is a mathematical expression. It's going to use some combination of numbers, cell references, and mathematical symbols. And what that can allow you to do is generate dynamic data, data that changes when the initial conditions are changed. So for example, if I was using the spreadsheet, this packing slip, and I wanted to have like a column here that would have the totals, like price times quantity, this number can change if I ordered one more thing. This would be a different number, and I don't have to do that. It would happen automatically, because we want everything to be automated. Everything needs to be quick, easy, and automatic. So creating formulas has a set of rules. The first rule is that every formula must begin with an equal sign. If I have a cell here, let's zoom way in, that has 1 plus 1, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything useful anyways. However, if I delete that and start with an equal sign and do the same thing, now it's a calculator. So think of the equal sign as the signal that math is going to happen. So each formula must have some combination of numbers and cell references. So we will say, so for example, we've seen this, so 45 plus 45 will be 90. But what I can also do is say 10 and 12, and I want to add those two together. I can start with my formula, and instead of going 10 plus 12, I can just add the cell reference. I'm just clicking on it, and it'll automatically put A1, but you can type A1, it'll do the same thing. So I can, now here, I can type B, or A2, and then it'll select that. Usually you just click on the cell, it's a lot easier. So A1 plus A2, and then I will actually do the math. So cell references are a way that you can create dynamic data. And by dynamic, I mean if this number changes, then the result of the addition will change as well. So you can use cell references and numbers in any combination you like. It'll always just treat a cell reference as the number that's in the cell that it came from. You can also use all of the basic arithmetic operators. So those are for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents, and grouping. So it's going to use all of those different, there's going to be symbols for these. So addition is easy, it's a plus. Subtraction is a dash. Multiplication is a star, an asterisk, which is usually, if you have a full-size keyboard, it'll be on the number pad, but it's usually, it's on the number 8. So shift and then the number 8 gives you your asterisk. Division is a forward slash. Oh, that was about slash. What? Oh, my numlock's off. What is going on? Forward slash. Why is it? It's like my keyboard stopped working. Slash. There we go. So exponents, like 2 to the second power or something, is actually, so you can't do, so you could like type 2 and then raise the 2 to the power. You can't actually do that on a keyboard. So instead what you use is the caret symbol to create an exponent. So like over here equals 2, oops, my numpad is off. There we go. 2 caret 2 will be 2 to the 2nd power, or 2 to the 10th power, 1024. So that's what exponents are for. And then grouping is handled exclusively by parentheses. You can't use anything else like brackets and curly braces. Those do other things syntactically. Usually we just use parentheses. So that's basically the gist. Oh, the other thing is that they follow the mathematical algebraic order of operations. So you remember the mnemonic device, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from elementary school? Well, this is, or maybe algebra, it sounds cheesy, but it's easy to remember. This is the order that it will resolve them in, is that normal algebraic one. Parentheses and exponents first. Everything inside of parentheses gets executed before everything outside of parentheses. Exponents get next highest priority. Multiplication and division have the same priority. They happen kind of left to right. Addition and subtraction also have the same priority, and they happen left to right after multiplication and division are resolved. So if you need a little practice with this, there's a link here you can go look at if you're a little iffy on order of operations and how it works. And here's a little table that describes how that works. So for example, 6 plus 7 times 8, we do 7 times 8 first and then add 6. So this was like 7 times 8 is like 56, so this would be 62. I think right, 56. I usually have computers to my math. 16 divided by 8 is 2, minus 2 is 0. 25 minus 11 is 14, times 3 is going to be 42 or something like that. And remember, cell references, get really used to using cell references. Do not do computations by hand. Make Excel do the work for you. So let's get back to the tutorial. So I have the spreadsheet already open here, ready to go. I just need to move the tutorial off to the other screen, and then we can get started. So the first thing we want to do is add a new column. We want to add cost. So we want to total all this up. How much is all this packing slip going to cost? So let's create a new column. We'll call it cost. And in this top one, we're going to do our multiplication. Equals this times this. We're just going to multiply the price times the quantity, and that'll give us our cost. Now, one thing you do not want to do is repeat yourself. There should be a way to copy this down so I don't have to do it over and over again. And as it turns out, this is actually really easy to do. You can click on it, hit copy up here, up top, then highlight the cells you want to paste it into, and click paste. And not only did it not copy this value exactly, it copied the formulas themselves. So it automatically updated the formulas so that they would work. Here I'm going to go into formula view mode so you can see what this looks like. I've got this one, so it's basically the 11s changed to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15, and it does this automatically. We'll explain why it works like this in a later tutorial, but for now this is something that you can get used to. The other way to do this is effectively the same thing, is to select this cell and grab this little tiny green box on the corner here. It's called the fill handle. We're going to grab it, drag it down, and then it'll do the exact same thing. So next, we want to add it all up. So let's get a subtotal. And let's just put it right here. We're going to do this in this 2 cells here. We're going to go, let's fix some formatting actually real quick. Was that in here already? Yeah, whatever. Let's fix it. Notice how all of these cells are, some of them are included. It might have actually been the last one. I just forgot to cover it. We can go through here, and you can grab these middle borders, and that's how you can resize the width of a cell. Or you can click there and double click it. You just double click it twice, and that will it'll just automatically widen out to fit all the data in there. If you want to do all of them at once, you can actually select all of the columns, just click in A and drag all the way to G, and then double click on any one of these borders, and it will just automatically fit everything in there the way it's supposed to be. Looks nice, huh? Now we want to add our subtotal, and we'll add it right down here. subtotal. Now you could go equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this, and it would give you the correct answer. However, there's an easier way to do this. Up here is a button called AutoSum. You'll see it, if you have a smaller screen, this might just be a sigma symbol, this little Greek letter E. It looks like it's actually the Greek letter S. If you click on it, it will do this. It will just automatically look above and look for the numbers and then try to guess what it is that you're trying to do. Usually just try to add all the numbers above it, and it will stop when it reaches something that isn't a number. Hit enter, and we got our total. Now let's do tax. We're going to do something fun with the tax. We're going to create a little adjustable sales tax thing up here. Let's say sales tax is 5%. And type 5 and then the percent symbol. That's going to get treated as a number and specifically going to be treated as a percentage, which means it'll be treated as the number 0.05. What this means is if the city passes like a new sales tax and you have to raise taxes, you can actually change it. So here, this is going to be the subtotal times the tax rate. Enter. So $31.83. Up here, if the city decides, oh, we want a higher tax, then all you have to do is change it up here and the rest of your tables will automatically update without any problems. For shipping, we'll just hard code in a number, $45. Looks like it didn't catch the formatting, so just add the $sign in at your leisure. Finally, let's do a total. This one, a grand total, this is going to be the difference between all these. So we'll actually just kind of do this by hand. We'll equals. To start doing math, we'll click subtotal, and then we will we will add taxes and add shipping. And then hit enter, and then you'll get it. So this is what this does for us. This allows us to do really cool stuff like, oh, the price of this changed a little bit, so now it's 70. Then that changes, the tax changes, and the total changes all automatically. It all happens very quickly, and it's very simple to do. Oh, they ordered 10 of these instead. And then all these will change. Notice here, something weird happened. The subtotal and the total are now hashed out. Why do you think that is? There's actually a very good reason for this, and I'm kind of glad this happened. It means that this column is too narrow to accommodate the full number. It's a feature in Excel where it won't show you like a partial number to reduce or eliminate the possibility of giving erroneous data. Like if a number got cut off at the end, you might think that a number was artificially low. So if you see hash marks, it's because the column is too narrow to accommodate the number. So you just have to resize it and then it'll be fine. So I'm going to undo. There we go. So if that ever happens, it's just because the column is too wide. Easy enough to fix. Okay, let's show you another way that this can be used. Let's add another row. So we're going to click on row 13. I'm going to click out here on the heading, which will highlight the entire row off to infinity. We're going to go up here to the top, and we're going to hit this insert button, and that will just shove everything down and create a new blank row. Notice all these numbers are fine. We're going to create a new serial number, use mean capacitive directness. If you don't have to spell these exactly the same as I have them. 45.99, 5 of them. This one doesn't automatically have a formula, but if we copy this bad boy down, then subtotal, taxes, and total will all go up correspondingly, and everything will look great. Okay, last thing we want to do is add in a couple of things to make things look a little nicer. We inserted a row. Let's add some borders. Well, first let's add up top. Let's add the name of the company up at the top. So we can just go like this. We can click row 1. We can insert a new row, and we'll put the title, the name of the company up here. We got widgets. Now reselect it, and we're going to make it bigger. Let's go to, say, 28. Yeah, so now it's like a nice big header, which is what you would want for like your company's tracking slips. Now we're going to go through and add borders to all these cells to make them look, because if I went in and did like a print preview, this is what it'll look like. It'll look like, I mean, it's fine, but I think that like it's nice to add borders, because these, you see these like outlines on here, those are not actual borders. They're just there. They're guidelines for you to see. They won't actually print. So instead, what we'll do is we'll select some stuff that would need borders, like the addresses up here, and then we'll go over to the border tool, which is right here in the font group, and hit the little down arrow, and we want all borders. And then you'll notice that the button actually changes so that now it just does all borders. And so then you get this. So we'll just go ahead and select everything that probably needs a border. Now, and that looks a little bit nicer. If we go to our print preview, this is what it looks like. The one thing you might notice is that our total column is missing. So if we were going to print this off, we would lose this. You can even see it right here, this dotted line right here, is sign that that last part is being cut off. So what we'll go up here is go to the page layout tab. We'll go to orientation, and we'll swap it down to landscape. And that will mean that it'll all print. So if you look at the print preview, now it's sideways, and you see everything. And that's about it. This is done. You can go ahead and save it and then turn it in. I will go ahead and do that myself. Start assignment, flip, open, and submit. And then we're done. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you find it useful, and we'll see you in the next one.